So the first week that we had our car on the road, we did guerrilla advertising. So we put the car down on a busy road somewhere, safe, obviously, drawed a lot of attention. For us, it was a busy sort of roundabout intersection where a lot of people sold their cars, and there was a fruit van there, veggie van there. As soon as we did that, the leads came through in abundance.
So Jenna and Andreas, thank you very much for joining us today on the Gyms Group podcast. And we caught up with you at the training in National. So if people have seen the content, it'd be great actually, because we interviewed you when you were very new at training with this role, and then now you've been in the role. So it's great to sort of be able to catch up with you and talk about it. So how long have you been going in driving school for at the moment?
So we started on the 1st of September, so just on 5 weeks now.
Now you've been fine, because I've seen your social media stuff, but you seem to be kids passing their driving lessons every day. You're posting and stuff like that. Seems to be a lot of work coming in. You're doing a lot of work. So maybe do you want to talk about how's the first month been overall?
It's been amazing for us. It's been so rewarding just being able to help these younger kids get their Ps safely and confidently. It's like, I don't have any words. I'm speechless of how amazing it feels.
How many lessons have you given so far?
So myself, I've been doing around 6 to 7 per day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, both of us about six lessons a day each.
Yep. So they're obviously an hour each, those lessons, or how long do they go for?
Yeah, 1 hour each.
Yeah. And where are you getting these leads from?
So we've been posting on our local classified pages, like community Facebook groups and all that kind of thing. That's where we started to post things just before we started. And then word of mouth has been the biggest thing. So one family tells another, and the young girls and boys, they all talk at school and they start following social media, seeing that we're helping them to pass, and then it just all kind of goes from there.
And how have you enjoyed the change, Andreas? Because you've been a mowing franchisee for a long time. So how's it been going from that to what you're doing?
Yeah, definitely. It's different. It's a total different thing. You can't really compare it, I guess. Mowing's very physical. There's a lot of work out there for mowing, whereas this is not so physical, not physical at all, but very mental. So the mental aspect of it there's quite a lot there, mentally. But yeah, no, I enjoy it 100%.
And are you at capacity already from the sounds of it? Like you can't do any more, but you probably have people you're turning away, or?
Yeah, so at the moment we're about 3 weeks booked out in advance. So, and then we've got the Christmas school holidays coming up yet, which I think we'll start feeling the effects of that fairly soon. People starting to book up for that.
And with doing the role, how long did it take you to get your accreditation for it? Let's just give an outline to people. So someone might be watching this and go, right, like the sound of this, it's not a physical gyms division. Actually, well, how do I get involved, or what's involved to do this? So let's just outline what they need and how it came from your perspective, because you've been through exactly what a prospect watching this would go through.
Yep. So you're going to go down to, depends where obviously you live, but in major cities, obviously Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane. So for us, it's Brisbane. Go down to do about 5 days training with a accredited trainer. So it's about 5 days in class, 3 days in classroom, 2 days on the road for practical assessments. And then it's about 5 to 6 weeks to do the remaining exams online. So it takes about around 6 weeks to get your accreditation for driving instructor.
Yep.
And then plus obviously all the other, come down to Gyms HQ for the training down there. So overall, it's probably a good 2 months transition period to get into it.
Now, could someone do that? Let's say they're working a full-time job. Could they do that on the side as well, you reckon? Or is it flexible enough to do that? Or do they have to go full-time doing the training?
It's flexible to do after else.
Yeah. I myself was working full-time while all this was happening, and the course, and it was tiring, don't get me wrong, but, you really want something, you'll work hard enough for it to achieve it and make it happen. So that's what I did, working full-time. Andreas was also working pretty much full-time in the mowing business as well. So for him too, it was, after hours, a lot of long days, and we just got into it, got it done.
So that's important for people to know. So that if they want to do it, they can do their full-time job and they can do this part-time, and then, make the full transition when they're ready to go and still have that, salary coming in. I was going to say as well, so that's one component of it. Now, the actual vehicle of it. So is there a special vehicle, or how does it all work from that side from someone?
So we ideally want a white vehicle. So we have two. We've got a Mitsubishi ASX in an automatic, and we have a Suzuki Swift in a manual. So preferably white, a smallish medium car, quite newish. We wouldn't want something a bit older than, 10 years. Might be a little bit unreliable or not good for a new learner. So that's ideally what we would be looking for in a vehicle. So we do have Gyms Car Connect as well, and they can help to source vehicles too, which is really cool.
And then does it need another brake fitted, or how does that work? Yep.
Yeah, so definitely I recommend to have dual pedals installed. So for the automatic, you have your brake and your accelerator, and for the manual, you'd have your clutch, brake, and your accelerator. Definitely recommend that.
Is that much of a cost, or how much is that roughly?
Yeah, so it depends where you live. So it can be from $1,800 all the way up to $3,500.
Okay.
And
how popular is the manual classes?
Yeah, so manual is very popular still.
Okay.
Probably more so for the regional towns like us. I don't know how the major cities had. I think all word of mouth is that automatic is,
mainly auto, and there's only tough country people drive manual cars. That's sort of. Yeah. If you looked at it a bit strange, you can't drive a manual in the regional area.
Yeah, definitely helps. But I normally teach the manual, and we get more lessons in the manual than the automatic in our region of Mackay anyway.
Yeah. So it's probably 60% manual, 40% automatic.
Yeah. But you're right in what you said. I would dare say if you're looking at this in a regional area, you're definitely manual. You'd have to have some sort of manual setup, whereas, metro, you can probably get away with just the full auto. I was going to say as well, income-wise, what can sort of a franchisee, because you're doing it, sort of look to expect to sort of turnover, and maybe do you want to outline the costs and stuff like that for someone looking at doing this?
So on average, we're getting $100 a lesson.
Yep.
So between $90 to $100 a lesson. And you can do it physically and mentally. You're only able to sort of do, about 6 a day, 6 to 7 a day. So, if you're working on just a single operator with one car, you can make around $600 a day. By 5 days, you can do 7 days if you want. We just stick to Monday to Friday. So we're both working together in it, manual and automatic. So we're doing our 6 lessons each a day, and we're turning over at $1,200 a day.
Good business. It's a really good business. You're helping people, and it's a good bit. But as you said, it can be mentally draining. I can imagine having to obviously got to pay attention and teach the whole time. But I was going to say as well, what are the costs really? The cost, I guess, would be the monthly fee from gyms. There would be petrol costs, I guess. What other sort of insurances, maybe? What other costs are involved with this sort of thing?
Yeah, so definitely comprehensive car insurance. You want your public liability and professional indemnity insurance. There are the gym's fees, so around about $700 to $800 a month. We do also have lead fees as well. But as franchisors of Central Queensland, if you come on board our team and our family, any team and family in the gym divisions, we all help you to grow your business, and we want the best for your business to grow as well. So, we come in on the other side of things, but some other costs, of course, is fuel, servicing of the vehicle, tires, clutch. Eventually, that clutch will definitely get worn out if you're learning how to drive a manual car. If you bunny hopped along the way, definitely does that. Yeah, just general maintenance. So there isn't a lot of costs associated with it, really, when you think about it.
No, generally it's actually quite a low overhead business, really, because you've just got your car, really, and if you look after it, if you're doing an average, we're averaging around 1,000 kilometres a week per car. So, every 15,000 kilometres, your car needs to be serviced. So that's around, $400.
Yeah.
And tyres every, 15,000, 20,000 kilometres, probably a rotate and balance. So generally, it hasn't got really that many overheads.
And they're all business deductions as well. So, absolutely. But no, it's really good to hear. I think the great thing about this division, for people watching or listening, is just as you know, Andreas, a lot of gyms divisions are very physical. They can be quite rewarding, but they can be very taxing on the body. Whereas with this, you can get paid a really good hourly rate or make a good hourly rate. Your mind's going to be sharp. You're not going to get that same wear and tear on the body. So there's such a broad demographic of people this one can appeal to. You've got, there's no real age limit, I think, with this sort of division. The
good thing too is you're always changing, get a flux over of people coming through. So you're never dealing with the same people for, a long period of time. You've got them for a month or so while you're teaching them to drive prior to getting their test and getting the license, and then new people come along. So you're always turning over new clients, and every day is a different day, and it's not the same. Every day is different.
Well, it's a really good point, because I speak to a lot of mowing franchisees. They might have the same customer for 20 years, and as you said, you've got someone for 1 or 2 months, and then it changes. So what's the sort of average lesson impact that parents are taking? What sort of number of lessons, and do you want to outline maybe the services for it?
So here in Queensland, I'm not sure about other states, but here in Queensland, for the first, say if a student has not done any lessons with a driving instructor at all, for the first 10 hours they do, they get triple hours. So that equals 30 hours on their logbook. And then after they do the 10 hours, it just refers back to 1 hour per 1 hour.
Yep.
So generally, parents that want to, get their kids to learn to drive, they'll usually get a 10-pack. It works out cheaper then as well for them.
Yeah, and I can only see it, that's never going to change. That's only going to get, more and more safety, I guess, with people, with governments. So that's something where I can only see it increasing, never decreasing in what parents need to do.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think word is too that the government wants to try and make it a mandatory 30 hours with an instructor. Whether that happens or not, that could be a little while down the track, but I think that'll eventually happen.
Well, it makes sense. They always want to reduce the road toll, and obviously young people are a high proportion, so that makes a lot of sense. I can only see it being, if someone's looking to getting into it, something that they maybe should take into consideration as well, that it's going to mean just more work for you guys, obviously. So with a new franchisee comes into the business, you've talked about the training, what to expect from time frame, costs. Now, what should they be doing once they get into the first week? Like, let outline a bit of a plan for them. So day one, they start with you guys. They've got their vehicle, they've got their signage, they've got their uniforms. Talk about the marketing stuff, because I think that's really important, how you built your business. I think it's a really good new way that gyms is going, because traditional gyms marketing has always been Google ads, that's it, right? Whereas franchisees have sort of had a handoff approach, whereas yourself, you're posting in local groups and market and these things like that. So do you want to talk about that aspect and what a franchisee is expected to do in your region?
Yeah, sure. So the first week that we had our car on the road, we did guerrilla advertising. So we put the car down on a busy road somewhere, safe, obviously, drawed a lot of attention. For us, it was a busy sort of roundabout intersection where a lot of people sold their cars, and there was a fruit van there, veggie van there. As soon as we did that, the leads came through in abundance. And not to mention the car, so the way, with mowing, your trailer's getting around all the time, people see it. So you're going from job to job, and then you're parked in a street for an hour doing a house yard, from doing a mowing job. Whereas this business, your car's seen, like we drive around for one whole hour. We're going everywhere and everywhere, and we're going, back up the same street maybe 4 or 5 times. So people see that car and the wrap on the car, and it doesn't, everyone sees it.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a lot of young kids like gyms for whatever reason it is. If you look at our demographics on Instagram and TikTok and stuff. So it's something where I think it's a really good one, whereas, it's such instant brand recognition and they love the brand and stuff. And if they see Jim's driving school, they're going to go with whoever else there is, and that's what they're going to ask their mum and dad for. So that's a good thing to hear. And what's the response been so far from your customers? Because you're doing a great job of socials. You post really good photos, happy people passing their tests and stuff, which is fantastic. So what's the response been overall so far?
Oh, extremely good. Like, Jenna and I both are very patient people. You have to be a very patient person to do this. That reflects a lot on what, happens, because if you're like that, what we hear from students that have come to us from, other instructors, that they're not patient, and that's why they've come to try us out as well. As soon as they see you're patient with them and actually want to teach them and, understand that they're going to make mistakes, the word of mouth, and they tell their friends, and then their friends tell their friends.
Yeah, for sure. And I hear it a lot because you guys actually own the business, and this is the thing people need to remember. They go to like a big company with a driving instructor, they're paid, whatever they're paid, whereas with you guys, it's your business, so it's your reputation on the line. And I think that's a big thing with most gyms divisions, that people need to remember that it's the franchisee's the business owner, not an employee. So you guys put your heart and soul on it, as opposed to someone who might be just getting a wage from their head office. I was going to say as well, then the costs. So someone might go, yep, this sounds fantastic for me. Realistically, what's sort of the cost range they need to look at? Is there any arrangements on the franchise price? So what's sort of the cost involved? So you've got the training cost in Melbourne, you've got, signage, you've got uniforms, there may be some vehicle adjustment for the extra break. What's the cost for the franchise in total?
Yeah, so at the moment, because Jim's Driving School, it's a brand new division. So we're offering 5 lucky people the opportunity to be granted a franchise for free.
Okay.
And down the track, once we have our 5 lucky people join our family, then the cost could be anywhere between $10,000 to $15,000 to start, get a territory in your name. Yeah.
That's awesome. So just outline for people, so free territory. So territories could be sometimes 20, 15 grand, 25 grand. So that's a really good deal. So, but the cost will be generally the, obviously flights to Melbourne for the training component. and a startup pack, which is expected. So it's a very low cost what you're doing. And I presume that the only reason why you're doing that is because you've got unserviced work, which, as we know, it's not a.
Absolutely. And just being a brand new division as well, we don't have a lot of proof behind us that that the division is going to work well. But from what we're doing, we believe it is definitely.
It's already working. It's absolutely working from what you're saying to me. And if you're a qualified driving instructor as an employee, you'd be crazy if you're in the area not to quit your job and get on board with this, to be honest, or just anyone in general, because you just outlined literally what you're making per week, which people can do in their head, and plus offer a free franchise essentially, minus the startup cost, which is an amazing deal for anyone looking for a change. So, and that's a great income for anyone with the lifestyle, which you can do.
Yeah, and not to mention there's a lack of driving instructors to meet the students that need to be taught to drive. So there's a huge influx of a backlog of, I think it's on average, 2 months wait to get in with a private instructor.
Yeah.
Wow.
All over Queensland when we first started, we did a lot of ringing around different places in Queensland just to put our feelers out. And the general wait time was at 2 to 3 months. So
wow, that's a lot. The demand is there. Yeah. Have you had any inquiries so far? Like, what are the questions you're getting from prospects? What's the common questions?
The most common question is, how much do I have to pay to gyms from my profit? And like, what percentage is it? And that's my favorite question because I love the answer. You don't pay a percentage, you pay a monthly fee plus your leads, and that's it.
Well, your fee's paid in a day from the sounds of it, from what you're making in a week. So basically 1 day a month for your gym's fee, and then the rest is yours.
Yeah, go to town. But I'm just so grateful that we were given this, we got into this opportunity. Obviously, we have had the mowing business for the last 3 years. But as soon as we started this, I was able to quit my job and I'm now doing this full time. Yeah,
well, so you're only a month in, but you obviously sound wrapped with it. So it's been, because it can be quite scary. And you would have known from Andreas how running his gym's mowing business, but sometimes there's still a lot of uncertainty coming to something new. So was all that fear warranted, you reckon, or?
Oh, yeah.
No.
No, definitely not.
Yeah. Everything we learned and put into practice in the mowing business all helped us to where we are now with this. So it was all meant to be, as far as we're concerned, that we got into the gyms in the way it happened for us. And, the mowing business was extremely, and is still extremely, because we still currently have it. It's for sale, but we still currently have the mowing business that we're running. I've got a subcontractor doing a lot of work for me at the moment.
Yep. So you're going full time into driving school, Andreas?
Yeah, I don't touch a lawnmower anymore.
Oh, great! There you go. That's a good sign for people because people can we put out there a lot about what gyms mowing guys do and stuff in terms of revenue. So to leave that to go into this is quite a good sign.
And in saying that too, my mowing business still makes enough money, even with a subcontractor doing the work. It still brings a little bit of an income in for us, to run the business and uphold the costs and the running costs of the business. So, yeah.
So in your region, how many driving instructors do you think realistically could be in your region? Do you think you could have 30 or 40, or what's the opportunity, you reckon? So you've mentioned 5, first one's for freaks. We're just going to get people in there to take up the unserviced work. What's the size of your region you think's realistic?
So our region's quite big. So all the way from Sunshine Coast right up to the top of Cairns. So in that whole region, we could easily have probably over 100 instructors.
Wow.
Areas, I would say.
Yeah, it just sounds like a bloody great business, especially from maybe some older people as well, looking to make some good money. Like, it's not a physical thing. You just, as you said, could be mentally switched on. They can use their years of experience on the road to do this. And then you can guide them through the whole training process. It sounds like an absolute winner.
Just like we're talking to you now on this meeting. On my phone's just going buzz now.
Okay, well, we'll better get your delete going soon. But is there anything? So we've just outlined for people, so the training, they come to Melbourne for 3 days, then they can do the 2 month was it 2 months, or was it, how many weeks was the training for the driving instructor?
2 months. It could be done soon, not just
if you had time to do it, you could do full time, but if you want to do it part time with your work, so you're roughly looking at a 2 month process. The first 5 franchises, it's literally a free territory. So if you're listening to this, just act and call 131-546 and get onto it. And then the money you've outlined every week is fantastic. But do you want to outline for people, which we haven't talked about, even though I don't think this is going to be a problem with this division, is the pay for work guarantee. So do you want to outline the pay for work guarantee for people? What's the amount in your region and what that actually means and what it's there to do?
Yeah, absolutely. So with the pay for work guarantee, don't quote me on this actual price because we
use
free division. you don't actually get that. But it's around $1,000, $1,200 a week. So what you need to do is if you come on board and you're not getting any leads or anything like that, and if that's the case, then I'm going to fall off my chair because probably won't happen with us on board. And you would need to go out and essentially do free lessons and record those lessons and then send them in to us and we review that, and pretty much that pay for work guarantee is like a pay that you get for doing those. But there is a certain amount of hours that you must do, and that is all stipulated in the contracts.
Yeah, and as you said, it doesn't apply to the free franchise offering because obviously they're not paying for that. But if someone comes on and pays for the franchise, some of that money, if required, it won't be from what I can tell, is there. But that's, as I said, some people like to have that knowledge, knowing it's there if they ever do need it.
Yeah.
But from what you're saying, that's not going to be a problem. And a lot of the time we have people who worry about the income guarantee and pay for work guarantee, and then 99% of the time it's never needed by most gyms franchisees.
Exactly. We never needed it for the mowing business when we first started.
Yeah.
And obviously it's there as a backfall, but from what we've seen so far, I don't think anyone would use it, but it's there.
Just to mention as well, you were asking before about what we did for advertising. So Jenna actually did like a Facebook page for Tones and Iron. She could probably explain a bit more of that.
Yeah. So I thought, because we're a brand new business here in Mackay, Tones and I, the singer, she put a call out to local towns saying, if there's enough demand in your town, I will come. So I thought, Jim's Driving School and Tones and I sort of share the same age demographic that we're wanting to bring, on board as students or as franchisees. So I started a bit of a campaign. It went a little bit viral. It's got over 800 followers. We've been in the Daily Mercury with Sunday Life coming up on Star, and across all of that, Jim's Driving School has obviously been in those photos as well. And Tones and I actually shared it herself onto her Facebook page, and she's got over 500,000 followers. So over 500,000 followers have now also seen Jim's Driving School Australia-wide. So that's just not benefiting us, it's benefiting all of our family everywhere. So
Lance giving you for that. Lance giving you something special for doing that.
No.
He never knew I was doing it. I didn't know it was going to work this well. But
Maybe you have to hit him up for a nice Christmas present, because that's a really good thing to hear. Done a great service.
You don't expect anything for it. We do it in your life.
That's a great initiative. Yeah. Great initiative. I love hearing that.
That's just the kind of advertising and marketing sort of stuff that, we can help people with as well.
Yeah, I'd love to hear more franchisees do that, because they underestimate they do something good like that and let a local paper know who always needs stories, or they're watching these sort of local pages for stories. They can get a story. We've had it happen down here with the Sunraysia franchisees for the local hero stuff they did up there, and they got in Triple M and stuff, similar sort of things. So it's great to hear that you did that. It's really smart. And I was going to say as well, it sounds to me as well like it's a good couples business. So it sounds like, maybe if they're couples, like you're doing this as a couple, but it sounds like it's pretty, I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but like you get to a stage where you could have both people, husband, wife, working in the business pretty quickly with 2 cars, for example, going full time like what you're doing. And it's a good income for the household.
Yeah, definitely. And it's awesome because obviously you're your own boss. You can create your lifestyle around what you want to do, your appointments, all of that kind of thing. And just, kids, if you have kids, you don't have to do, certain times. You can set your own schedule, and it works really well. So we see each other more now than we used to with me working full time.
And would there be potential with this to go beyond 2 vehicles? Like if you wanted to build like a fleet, let's say like you have your own little company where you might have 6 or 7 instructors or something working for you. Because obviously people could do the sum in their head about the hourly rate you're charging, what they would have to pay someone, and there's workers' comp and super and all that sort of stuff. But would it be something that you think someone could do?
So, yeah, for sure. There's also down the track the opportunity of going into trucks. Like
heavy rigid sort of stuff.
Jet skis, as well as, eventually possibly even becoming, registered training organisations amongst the franchisees if they want to go to that extreme, actually training the actual certificate for and driving training assessing. You'll need that as well. It's obviously for jet skis and boats and things like that. Also, it's just not school kids either that need to learn to drive. We have a lot of international students that are coming into the country for jobs, so they need to transition into the Australian driver's licence. Also, another big one is the NDIS. So there's a lot of work with the NDIS for disability, services. We haven't got a card yet that's set up for that. but there is that option there if you want to go down that path, getting a car set up with the disabled joysticks and controls for that.
Okay. Yeah.
As well as a lot of people don't realise, I don't think they realise this as well, is that there's work with the employment agency. So the employment agencies actually fund people between a certain age that have got children or different circumstances to actually, if they don't have their license, they need their license for a job or their job they're applying for, they will fund them driving lessons to get their license.
There you go. And I was going to say, there's a whole bunch of Melbourne drivers that could use driving lessons as well, the current ones on the roads, with how people drive down here. And I was going to say, is your plan then for yourself is to do that? Because I didn't know that was an option. That sounds like a really exciting opportunity. So is that to get people their heavy rigid license or their medium rigid or?
Look, I'm not sure yet. The idea is there, especially for me, because I used to be a truck driver. So I've already got the experience there, behind me, backing it to be able to teach trucks. Maybe down the track, but I think we're probably leaning that more for the opportunity for potential franchisees to give them that opportunity to grow it, especially further down south in Brisbane and or Sunny Coast, Brisbane, all that area. I'm not saying that up here. Like, I know there's only one truck school here in Mackay. So, I mean, if I was to go out and buy a truck tomorrow and start teaching trucks, I'd have, an abundance of work there for that. But I'm only one man and I can only do so much myself.
Yeah.
If I could split myself into 10 people and multiply myself, well, yeah, I would.
It just sounds like you can build a massive business if you wanted with this, which I don't think people might not realise, that you can have the lifestyle business to start. But if you are a bit more ambitious and stuff like that, you can expand, which is a great thing, I think, with this division, because some people might have that presumption it's just myself and that's it. But I think if you want to expand this, there's a lot of different options, as you said, that they can go.
It's very appealing too. When people see Jim's driving school, I don't know what from what I've seen in the last few weeks, people's reaction to it and how they feel about it. It's a very professional kind of the brand name, but it just suits it. It just really suits it. Jim's driving school and the way the car's set up and wrapped, it's super professional. It looks really, really good, and people like that. They see they're going with someone professional and they trust that person. And I mean, if I had kids, I'd want to know who my daughter or son's going with. Yeah,
exactly. You don't want just some random person with a magnet slapped on and no website and you don't know who they are. Whereas, and that's always a risk. Whereas with this, you want as much security and to know that the person they're going with is as qualified as possible. So I think this is absolute no-brainer. And as you said, it's such a good point of difference in the market for people when they see it. And that's why obviously the leads have been so good for you guys. It's just the branding, and obviously you're generating a heap of referrals too from good service. But I think it's an absolute winner. Absolute winner. Now, is there anything else that I haven't asked you guys today that probably like as a question or something you want people to know about the division?
Probably after we get off, we'll probably remember.
We're the way, right?
Yeah, but look, to summarise, great offer for anyone this. If you're up in the Sunshine Coast area where you outlined before, the first 5 franchises are free. So you just have to pay for the startup pack. So getting quick. But I just think in general, like if you're even current franchisees, if you're listening to this, I think if you've got a partner or something who maybe wants to do something else, there's a lot of franchisees up in your area with a mowing or a cleaning franchise or something. And this is a great complement to the business. And you might do it Andreas has done and sell your business and come over full time. So it might be the case. A few franchisors might not like that, but it might be something that might happen up there.
We still love you all.
I'm really glad to hear how well it's going for you. Obviously, we caught up with you, over a month ago now, so it's really good to see the first 30 days and how it's been. And you're obviously already booked out 3 weeks in advance, so a lot of demand there for this service. And I think it's a fantastic division, great offering. And as I said, it's a massive demographic in terms of who can do this, and some older people as well if they're looking for something and a bit different. But this is a great opportunity. As you said, I think the conversing with young people every day as well would be a nice thing too.
Cool. I'm learning a lot of lingo.
What's some lingo you've learned from them?
Pop off.
Pop off, right? Yeah.
Well, it's cool.
Cool. There you go. I haven't heard that one. I'm getting old.
I was like, say what now?
Just to mention, we've got a couple people look like they're going to start up down in Sunny Coast. So we have had interest. We've got a guy that's looking like he's definitely starting up in Townsville as well. So yeah, there's definitely an interest there.
Mate, it's a no-brainer. I don't know if you're watching, listening, this is interested in driving school. I think it's a no-brainer. I think I'm not saying everything is a certainty. You got to do a bit of work yourself, obviously, but I think it's a pretty near certainty that you'd be successful, whoever comes into your region with this, with you guys helping him. I think it's an absolute winner, and it's a great time for people to get on board.
Yeah.
If you're a patient, you've got drive in you, you want to succeed, and, you know, you're not afraid of work, and, well, you know, and it will ask you, you need to work some long hours, you know. We work, sometimes we don't get home till 7 o'clock and we're still doing book work till 10 o'clock at night, but we know we have to do that.
And that's our choice.
And that's our choice, and, you know, to get the business going. And, you know, anybody can do anything they want as long as they put their mind to it. Doesn't, you know, if you don't want to do something, it's not going to happen.
There we go. Call 131546 or inquire the Gyms Driving School or gyms.net website and get involved, because I think it's a great offer, great division. I keep saying it, but it is a fantastic opportunity for people who want something a bit different outside of the typical physical gyms divisions and make a great income. It's a great early rate, and it's something that, as you said, they can scale a bit bigger if they're a bit ambitious, or if they want lifestyle. They've got best of both worlds. So
yeah, absolutely. So come drive with us.
That's it. No worries. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you for listening to the episode of the Gyms podcast. If you want to learn more about the Gyms Group, head to gyms.net or call us on 131 546 Australia or 0800 454 654 New Zealand. And if you did like the episode as well, please make sure you leave a review or a comment or a thumbs up or a comment on the video as well. We appreciate your support. And until next episode, we hope you have a great week.